The views and opinions expressed on Wrestling Winedown are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, employer, or company. What's up, guys? It's Lo, and you are tuned in to Wrestling Winedown, a female-founded and hosted podcast dedicated to professional wrestling and our favorite adult beverage. Wrestling photography is so important, whether you're inside the arena on that special night or you're outside of the ring, watching at home, looking at a photo from a special night can bring back so many memories. On this episode, I am so honored to be joined by Jess Torres, who is a female wrestling photographer based out of Los Angeles, California. We're spilling the wine on Jess's experience in the photography world, as well as what wrestling match re-sparked her interest in the sport, her recent trip out to Las Vegas to photograph the FSW Future Stars of Wrestling roster, and her latest project that you'll definitely want to get your hands on. So grab your glass of wine. We're going in for the 3 count. As I mentioned in my intro, I have a female wrestling photographer here. Jess, welcome to Wrestling Winedown.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're having me. This is really exciting.
Let's talk about your photography journey. When did it all begin for you?
I think it began right after high school. I was doing photography for a family friend, taking like photos for weddings and quinceañeras and stuff like that. And I kind of sort of fell in love with it right then and there, just kind of shooting different moments and things like that. And that's pretty much how it all started. It all began.
Talk to me about how you jumped to wrestling, weddings and quinceañeras to blood matches at GCW. How do you jump like that?
What happened was I fell in love with photography so much that after high school, I didn't know what to do. So I decided, let's just do photo, classes or something like that. So I actually went to art school and I actually have a bachelor's in fine art of photography. So I have a degree in photography. I kind of wanted to pursue that as a career and kind of sort of fell out of it for the longest time and kind of focused more on post-production, retouching and things like that. Did that for work and stuff. And then, I'm originally from Houston, Texas, and then I moved to LA. And when I was in LA, one of the first matches I saw like on TV was Bailey versus Sasha. I think it was like Brooklyn NXT or something, One of their first matches. And it was just crazy just seeing them just, go at it. And I'm like, wow, like that's so amazing. And then from there, it kind of like grew into like going into a hole of like, oh, like Lucha Underground is doing tapings in LA, like let's go. And then saw that live and it was amazing just seeing wrestling live and just seeing like the reactions and just the people and the moves and things. And at that point, like I still didn't do photography or anything like that. And then I was just like, just enjoying it as a fan. But I would like, take my phone out and take pictures here and there on my phone and things like that. And then I got introduced to PWG, which is like the local LA, SoCal promotion here that's like really popular and kind of big. And, I started going to that over the years. I would just take pictures and like post them on my Instagram, or like I would tag the wrestlers, and then sometimes the wrestlers would post it on their Instagrams or we share it. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Eventually one of my photography friends actually gave me like a film camera. He's like, here, like use it to shoot. And I'm like, okay. So I was just doing that for a little bit. I like loved it. I like fell in love with shooting and photography and things like that. And it's just really crazy that I think wrestling kind of brought that out of me, like in a sense, because I wasn't shooting and I wasn't inspired to shoot, and wrestling kind of just brought it out of me. Just like the emotions, the move, you can just capture so many things in like a second or whatever, or just try to find the right moment. You're like, there, that's a shot or something. And like, wrestling is so fast and just so fast moving and fast paced that like kind of taking that moment, we're like, good. And then posting it, it's like, wow, like I forgot that happened, or I forgot like this person made that emotion or things like that. So it's really crazy.
How long have you been a wrestling fan for? Was that Sasha and Bailey match the first wrestling that you had ever seen?
Actually, no. I think when I was like in 5th grade, my friend used to talk about her favorite wrestler was Edge. She's like, I love Edge so much and things like that. And I was like, I want to know who this Edge person is. And I want to be a cool person. So I kind of went and started watching WWE, WCW, and WWE, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was like WWF still back in the day or not, but I don't remember. started watching that, and I loved Jericho and Attitude Era, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I think, yeah, it started when I was like in 5th grade, and I kind of fell out of it. And then I saw it again. I was like, oh, that's wrestling. That's right. I used to watch that as a kid. And I feel like everyone has that moment where they used to watch it as a kid, and then all of a sudden, I don't know where they get into it again.
As a female photographer in a male-dominated sport, have you had any difficulties from individuals, or has the reception been mostly positive with your photography?
I think with any male-dominated sport and coming into it, I think there's always going to be some kind of pushback because, especially coming into like a business that is male-dominated, and also I haven't been doing this for too long, and there's already like so many amazing photographers out there and things like that. And I come in and start posting things, and people are like, "Who's that girl? Like, what's all?" And be like, "Oh, it's me." Like, I shoot wrestling and things like that. And people that don't know me at first, and putting myself out there is kind of tough. Once I go into promotions and kind of shoot, and I edit and I post them, they're like, "Oh, like she's really good," and she's like the real deal. I think in the beginning, it's all just trying to prove to people that you're there and you're creative and like you're talented. And there's always going to be people that are going to look at you differently or look at you weird at first, and then you just got to be like, "Hey, like I know what I'm doing." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, you do. Okay, cool." Things like that. But in the beginning, there was like kind of weird pushbacks. And then now that I'm like, getting like a portfolio and getting more images out there, then more people are seeing them. Like I get a lot of, "Oh, you're so good. Like I would love you to shoot me one day." Or like, "If you're in this promotion, like we'd love to have you." Or if you're ever in this area, or, wrestlers like message me sometimes and be like, "Hey, like I hope to work with you soon. Like I love your photos." I'm like, "Yay, that's so good. I'm so happy." Like it just makes me so happy that people are just so inviting and things like that.
What have been some of your favorite events or wrestlers to shoot?
One of my favorite events has been the one that I shot recently, the like a week ago. I went to New Texas Pro Wrestling. It's like a Texas promotion that runs in Houston sometimes. So I'm originally from Houston, and being back home and being in watching wrestling and being a part of wrestling and like a promotion there was just so much fun, and seeing new talent that I haven't seen before, and just seeing wrestling there was just amazing. I just had so much fun. I was like, this is cool. And there's also fans. So it's like kind of like with all this COVID and things like that, and seeing like fans there with wrestling is just amazing. And I just had a lot of fun. And it's just also kind of hard to pick because like it seems like every wrestling show that I go to, I'm like, "Oh, this is good." I'm like, "Oh no, this is good." So it's like kind of sort of hard to pick because it's like, some are like kind of like emotional to me because there was a GCW show in California that was outside during COVID. And that was just amazing because the backdrop, like there was all these mountains and like the sunset was coming down. It's very LA, very SoCal vibes and things like that. There's just so many.
So you recently had the opportunity to travel out where we're at in Las Vegas to shoot the talent of FSW. Was this your first time coming to Vegas? How was the experience to work with that specific brand?
I actually have gone to Vegas a few times for ROH. Back in like the day when they used to run at Sam's Boat. Sam's Town. I don't know why I said Sam's Boat. Sam's Town. And right when like, the Young Bucks and Adam Cole were still there. And that's been like really fun. This experience, especially shooting for FSW, was just one of my favorite experiences as well. Just because the day that I got there was whenever they're like, "Oh, you don't have to wear masks if you're fully vaccinated." And then you can tell like people were just really excited. And people are like just taking their mask off and things like that, and being able to see friends again, because some friends I haven't seen in over a year. And this is like kind of like our let's go to Vegas and go to FSW and GCW to watch wrestling and like hang out again. It'd be like a welcome back to society kind of thing. Shooting FSW was just so much fun. I shot FSW and GCW together when they did a show back in, I think it was like October. And that was my first experience, and it was really fun there. And then they announced that show, and I was like, I need to go to that show because FSW and like the talent there is just crazy, like amazing, and everyone's super talented, and they're all so nice. Like it's just amazing going in there, and like some wrestlers already know me, or seeing also like the growth of some of the wrestlers and just seeing like, wow, like they've grown so much in like short amount of time, or like, wow. And I think it's like the first show too, where the last show, it was just a tape show and this one was live. So then seeing Vegas fans and like who they react to and who's the heel, and them reacting to like different people, I'm like, oh, okay, I see how it is and things like that. And it was really fun. That promotion just has so many different stars, and shooting promos for all these wrestlers, and showing them pictures, and they're like, oh my god, like you're making me look so good. And I was like, you're welcome.
How many people did you shoot at that show?
I think I shot 10 or so. I didn't shoot a lot of people, which is really unfortunate, because I wish I would have gotten more people, but in the chaos of everything,
right,
people like get there late or things like that, but I try to focus on the local talent and things like that. So yeah, it was really fun.
We are taking a quick break from this episode to tell you about the Pro Unapologetics first ever wrestling show, Black Girl Magic, which is set to happen Saturday, June 26th in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. This event features for the first time ever Trish Adora going up against the living legend Jazz in the main event. The show will also feature many of wrestling's talented women of color from around the United States. For more information on how to buy your tickets and sponsorships, go to @ProUnapologetic on Twitter. That's @ProUnapologetic. What advice would you give to other women who are looking to enter the field of wrestling photography?
My advice would be just to go there and have fun and be yourself, put yourself out there, and try to ask how many different promotions you can to see if you can shoot. And, if you can, local. If not, if you're willing to travel, go travel to all these places. One of the things that I've been trying to focus on is going to promotions that don't have a lot of photographers that usually are there, or a lot of the talent that doesn't have good promotion, good promo shots, or, and things like that. And just going there, it's like, hey, I'll shoot some promos for you. It's super fun and nice to see promotions actually use my photos on their flyers and things like that. I was like, hey, I did that, or hey, I made that, and things like that. But just have fun and just, be personable as well. And, just, it goes a long way being really nice to people and things like that.
You told me about this project that you and a friend worked on. It is a zine/comic book, and you shot it at GCW's Fight Forever. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And you also have it for sale. So where can the people buy it at?
Yeah, so GCW made they ran a 24-hour show. I was lucky enough to go travel there and shoot it. And it was a crazy 24 hours. It was so much fun. And I had so many images from it and things. And I really wanted to commemorate this special time and just this whole, during COVID, like a bunch of wrestlers coming in and trying to do something really cool. I decided that I wanted to make a photo book some sort of way. And I had a friend where he was like, well, everyone makes photo books. Like, what's going to make yours stand out? Like, try to think out of the box and things like that. And I was like, well, through my photos, I really like telling stories. And I think it would be really cool to do like a comic book kind of concept. And he's like, okay, that's a really good idea. Like, yeah, a lot of wrestling fans also are into like, comic books and things like that. And he introduced me to this one illustrator, girl that, just does really amazing work. Her name is Dominic Bell. And she's really amazing. And I met up with her and I was like, look, I have this concept. Like, what do you think of it? She's like, I love it. Let's try to do it. And it was hard to pick. There's so many good matches that I feel like I had to narrow down to like 4. And I picked 4 different ones that really stood out to me and just had like an amazing story. So basically I sent her all the pictures and then she kind of put it together and kind of illustrated on top of it and put like words, bam, or flash, or like, oh my God, and things like that. She did such a good job, and I feel like it makes the photos stand out a little bit more and things like that. It's called CMYKill, and it has 4 matches. It has Leo Rush versus Blake Christian, Alley Cat versus Willow, and then it has Oren Bite versus Schlack, Joey Janela versus Everett Connors. The link is in my bio. It's Instagram, it's OMG Jess, and then the zine also has an Instagram, so it's at CMYKill. You can search either one of those and find the link in the bio.
Thank you so much for joining me, Jess. One last time, where can the people find you on social media? If a wrestler is listening, where can they book you at?
They can find me at OMG Jess on Twitter, and then on Instagram at it's OMG Jess.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wrestling Winedown. You can find all of our other episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you listen to your podcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at WWDCAST. Let us know what you thought about the episode. What was your favorite part? Until next time, enjoy your wine and, of course, enjoy your wrestling. Cheers!